I moved to Texas from Los Angeles, California. I moved here, well, hold on, I didn't tell you what part. I moved here a year and a half ago. I moved to Wichita Falls, Texas. Somebody over there just said, hell no. He's obviously from Wichita Falls. It sucks so bad. And I should have paid attention because I took a job there and I actually went to visit, but I wasn't like really looking at my surroundings, because if I'd have just paid attention for 5 minutes in the hotel. You know, you go to a hotel and in the lobby, they have a stand full of brochures of stuff to do when you're visiting a place. Well, in Wichita Falls, those brochures are just for other cities. So they're basically just like, hey, do you want to have fun while you're here? Well, then you should leave. I moved here because my wife and I had a baby, and I was pursuing my dreams in Los Angeles. And then my daughter was born, and I needed to do something a little bit more responsible. So I gave up chasing my dreams to take care of her. And I'm okay with that. I think that giving up something that you care about for someone that you love is important. And I try and pass that lesson on to her. Thank you so much. I really want to pass that lesson on to her. So what I do is she just turned 2 years old. And so every night since we moved to Texas, I put her to bed at night. And what I do is I hold her in my arms and I look down into her beautiful blue eyes and I say, Billy, you ruined everything. And then I drop her in her bed, slam the door, put on my headphones, and I listen to podcasts of my more successful friends. I just think, what could have been? My daughter was born April of 2021. I'll never forget, the doctor handed her to me. I looked down, I saw her vagina, and I immediately became a feminist. As soon as I saw it, I was like, this world is fucked up. We're going to start making some changes right now. And then I moved her to Texas. So I don't know what I was thinking. Just like, struggle builds character, I guess. I am actually surprised that the patriarchy still exists, considering that women have been the ones to give birth pretty much the whole time. And as a man, nothing is more humbling than being there when a child is born, because you really find out how useless you are. There's no reason for us to be there. They do expect us to be there all the time now whenever a child is born. Personally, I feel like the 1950s were the golden age for labor for men. Because we would just hang out in the lobby, smoking cigars with our friends, listening for the screams, being like, Doc, we're almost there. The baby would be born, somebody would come out and be like, it's a boy. And you'd be like, fuck yeah, let's go to the bar, fellas. Then one day in the 1960s, some fucking asshole was in the lobby. He heard his wife scream and he was like, fellas, I think I need to go check up on her. And they were all like, man, don't fucking go in there. And then he did. Ever since then, every woman has been like, well, fucking Steve went into the... He was in there. Okay, what do you want me to do? I got a GED. I'm not going to be able to help. You comfort me. Oh, do I? Do I? The fucking drugs aren't enough? You need me in there? The whole time, I'm the only man in the room, so I'm running my fingers through my wife's hair, telling her she's doing a great job. She's telling me I'm a fucking piece of shit. A nurse walks up and she's just like, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm in the way. So I move to the other side where the machine's beeping and shit, and I try to like comfort my wife some more. Another nurse comes up and she's like, and I'm like, oh, I'm in the way. How about I just go stand in the corner and think about what I did to get us here in the first place? The only other man in the room at all was the anesthesiologist. And actually, like, thinking back on that, it is kind of a misogynistic thing when you think about it. Because I know a lot of women are like, yeah, but it makes the delivery process easier. Okay, maybe, but that's not why it was invented. It was invented because two male doctors were hanging out one day, and one of them was like, man, you know what really bothers me during the whole birthing process? All the noise and complaining the women make. Like, it's really hard for me to concentrate while they're screaming the whole time. And then the other guy was like, well, what if we stabbed them in the spine and paralyzed them for 12 hours? And the other guy was like, yeah, man, that fucking make my job a lot easier. Almost like the woman wasn't even there. To be fair, the medical community hasn't always been great to women. I think that everyone should always seek a second opinion, and there's never been anything to prove that more than the early 1900s. Because if you were a woman in the 1930s, let's say, and you were married, and your husband came home, and he was like, hey babe, what's for dinner? And then you were like, fucking make it yourself. He'd be like, there is something wrong with you right now. You need to go to the doctor. And then you get to the doctor, and the doctor would be like, well, what seems to be the problem? And you'd be like, well, I'm just not respected by my husband. I can't own property. I can't vote. It's fucking bullshit. And the doctor would be like, well, I've seen this before. You're hysterical. And that was an actual medical diagnosis, female hysteria. This woman wants respect. She's out of her fucking mind. But here's where it gets good. There was a cure for it. The cure for female hysteria was manual stimulation of the clitoris until she achieved orgasm. Which, think about, that is very progressive, because this is the 1930s. We didn't even know y'all had either one of those until like 5 years ago. But apparently there were some doctors in the early days that were like, I bet if we make these bitches come, they'll be a lot nicer to us. Right? Now here's why I say you should always get a second opinion. That was one way to cure female hysteria. The other way was a full hysterectomy. And if you're a man, that is when they pull out the sexual organs of a woman. Because I guess some doctors were like, these bitches are crazy. We got to get them off their periods. If we just rip everything out of there, they'll be cool. Now, that's not funny. But what I do think is funny is that there were absolutely two women sitting on the porch sipping tea one day, and this woman was like, Barbara, you're not going to believe this, but the other day I gave Steve a little lip, and he sent me to the doctor, and they said I was crazy, and to cure it, that doctor rubbed my clitoris until my eyes rolled into the back of my head. Now I've never felt better. I go to the doctor 2 or 3 times a week now. And our marriage has never been better. And then Barbara was like, okay, Donna, that sounds like a good idea. So then Barbara went home and she talked back to her husband, and her husband was like, you need to go see Dr. Jenkins. And then a week later, Donna invites Barbara back over, and Barbara shows up and she's like, Donna, I don't know what doctor you went to, but I did what you told me to, and they ripped out my uterus. And then Donna was like, wait a second, are you on an HMO or a PPO? Because you don't get your clit rubbed at Kaiser Permanente. That is Blue Cross cure right there. That Obamacare does not rub your clit. You gotta have a private health care plan, and for a $25 copay, fucking moaning and groaning all day long. I really like you. You're a great audience member. There was this fucking woman the last show that sat right there, straight-faced the whole time, and there's no one in this chair right now, and I'm getting the same fucking reaction from the woman that was there before. And the whole time I just wanted to be like, you need your fucking clit rubbed. Which is funny because she was the opposite of hysterical. So, I don't know. It works both ways. You what?
I set my doctor appointment for the
There you go. She set her doctor appointment for in the morning. I hope you got that good insurance. Yeah, there you go. Blue Cross.
We've got a doctor here.
This is why I should have never acknowledged that an audience was here. Like, I love it when you laugh, but when you start talking, I'm just like, I wish all these people would fucking go away. This was so much more fun in my bathroom. My wife and I, we had our daughter. My wife was 42 years old, and so our daughter is 2 years old now, and it's a lot of fun. It's the best stage because she's talking and she lets you know things like nowadays she'll fall and get a scrape on her leg and she'll be like boo boo, kiss boo boo, and it makes you feel good as a parent. But the other day I was changing her diaper and she had a scratch on her leg right next to her vagina, and she was like, "Daddy, boo boo," and I was like, "Not this fucking time." It's about time you learn about Neosporin. She also learned all the animal sounds. I'd be like, "What's a cow say?" She'd be like, "Moo." "What's a horse say?" She'd be like, "Neigh." And then in Wichita Falls, they have all these statue horses. And every time she sees one, she'll be like, "Ooh, it's a neigh." And I'm just like, she's fucking retarded. It's a horse. It doesn't say that. Well, I'm retarded too. I know she's not retarded because the doctor kept reminding my wife and I during the pregnancy that my wife was old as shit, and that she kept needing to have tests to make sure that the baby was going to be okay. Every time. We went to a doctor's appointment like every 6 weeks or so, and he'd keep reminding us, "Now, because of your age." And after a few times, I was like, "Hey man, you're insulting me right now too, all right? Making it sound like I'm fucking some old bitch." I don't like that. Because my wife is significantly older than me, so I'm self-conscious. She's 44, I'm 42, and it's a big... That's like 60 in man years, so, there's a big difference here. But so, in a lot of places, they give you tests so they can see if the baby is going to be born with Down syndrome, and then they give the parents the option to abort the baby. And I think that's not okay at all. I don't know why someone laughed at that over there. You gotta wait till a punchline comes. You can't just be laughing at horrible shit. Was that the guy in the cowboy hat? Okay, y'all just heard it too, and you were like, we gotta fucking move away from this side. I think it's fucked up because, like, out of all the things, like Down syndrome kids, they're the best. I don't know if you've ever been around them, but they're always happy. They do all kinds of fun stuff. You take them to a basketball game, they get to shoot the winning three-pointer. No one's guarding them or anything, but everyone's real happy about it. They're always like, "Hey, in Wichita Falls, my best friend," because I don't know anybody there, my best friend is a guy that's in his 40s that has Down syndrome. Every time he sees me, he's like, "Hey," and I'm like, "Robert, what's up?" And he just fucking walks away. He's my best friend. I don't really think he likes me at all. But they're just fun, and yeah, their nose runs pretty much their whole life, but you start as a toddler with that, you just get used to it as a parent, so I don't think they should test for that, for abortion. What I do think they should be able to test for to abort kids is precociousness. That is what we got rid of. I cannot stand a precocious child. Who cares if their nose runs a little bit? I don't like to tell a kid, "Well, actually, it's just a theory," and then they stop me. "I think what you mean is that it's a hypothesis." And I'm like, "You're fucking 7. You need to back up." That's why I don't read to my daughter. I don't want her talking back to me as she gets older, being smarter than me. I got a GED. I got to dumb it down a little bit. I'm like, "Hey, let's fucking watch Ren and Stimpy reruns." My family makes me very happy, which is a big change in my life. I was actually depressed for, I don't know, about about 10 years. Earlier this year, I actually was doing some changes in my life, so I went to buy some new shoes, and they had me measure my foot, and they were like, "Oh, you're a size 11," and I was like, "No, I'm not." They were like, "Yeah." I'm like, I wear 10s, and they're like, "Well, that's the wrong size," and I was like, "Well, I've been wearing that for about 15 years now." And they're like, "Yeah, it's wrong." So I guess I wasn't depressed. I was just wearing the wrong size shoe. Because I switched to an 11 and I'm fucking having the time of my life these days. I should have known that it was the wrong size shoe. My pinky toes are deformed. They're like rolled in. If you looked at my feet, you'd think I was one of those Chinese ladies that did the foot bonding in the early 1900s or whatever. Somebody was like, "How could you wear the wrong size shoe for 15 years? Well, when I was younger, I had a football coach, when we were getting cleats, he was like, "Hey boys, listen up. Good pair of shoes should fit like a good piece of pussy. Real snug." And I was like, "Yeah, but I don't like it when my shoes are wet, so what are we doing?" I'm getting mixed messages. My wife and I had our baby because we had sex a lot, and that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it because my wife is really good at sex. She's very aggressive sexually, so much so that honestly it intimidates me sometimes. I know a lot of you are like, "What? You look like a fuck machine." Well, I know, I got mirrors. But honestly, a lot of that's the mustache. My wife does all kinds of stuff during sex. She'll leave the lights on. She'll make eye contact and talk to me, and she moves around a lot. I don't like all. When I fuck for Jesus, you know. Yeah. Turn the lights off. Be as quiet as possible. Don't move at all. Just kind of stick it in and let it soak for a few minutes. You start moving back and forth a little bit, this is going to be over a lot quicker than either one of us want it to be. So I suggest you just stay right there. I've been having sex for a while, and I've learned something, and that is that sex for men is awesome. We love it every time. It feels amazing. Sex for women is just like, take it or leave it, you know? And I know that because you're always trying to spice it up, right? You're like, "Ooh, talk dirty to me, choke me, let's role play." Like, role play? You want to fucking... You know how insulting that is? To be like, if you're going to make me come tonight, I need you to be different. Okay. So you want me to be like a fireman or something? No, just be like Steve, the neighbor. I think about that all the time. Okay. And while you're doing it, she's like, "Choke me." Okay, so now you want me to commit a felony so you can come. I ain't doing that. Plus, now that I found out about Steve, I don't know if I'm going to let go in time. So let's just play it safe tonight. Keep our hands to ourselves. And then the talking shit. I don't know why. Why do you think talking during sex is such a good idea? Throughout all of time, the one complaint that men have about women is that you talk too much. And then finally, we're doing the one thing that we talk to you to try and get to. And then it's like a light bulb goes off over your head and you're like, "Ooh, I bet I know how I can fuck this up right now." What if we started discussing shit? My wife talks during sex to boost my ego. Only I don't think she really thinks it through sometimes. You know, she'll just say the first thing that comes into her mind. I'll never forget. One of the first times we were having sex, like a month into our relationship, one of the first times she said, "Nobody else fucks me as good as you do." And I was just like, I stopped fucking her, I was like, Lee, that was 5 words too many. Right? If you would have stopped and nobody else fucks me, we'd still be doing it right now. Because that turns me on. Monogamy? Shit, yeah, you talking my language. That's dirty, I like it. Just you and me, girl. Then you added that other part, it's like, okay, so it's a competition. And apparently I'm winning, but it don't feel like it, I'll be honest. She also makes me have sex with the cat in the room, which... Actually, let me rephrase that. No, I'm sorry. She doesn't make me. First of all, she don't make me do shit, okay? Yeah, I'm a man. But sometimes we have sex and the cat's in there and I don't like it. I don't like having the cat in there. I don't like having sex with the cat in there. I don't like watching TV with the cat in the room. I don't want the fucking cat anywhere near me. I don't like it. It's a shitty animal. All it does is judge you. You clean out the litter box and it's like, you're not doing it right. Okay. If the dog was in the bedroom, okay, I'm not like, let's bring the dog in here, but I'm okay with it because he's happy for me. His tail's wagging. He's like, oh, you're gonna do it that style? That's the same style I do it. Hop on, you know? But the cat's just staring at me the whole time. I'm fucking my wife. I'm like, hey, I know you said nobody else fucks you as good as I do, but the look on Matilda's face is telling me a different story right now. She's like, you're overreacting. I'm like, no, I'm not, and I can prove it, right? Because I went on to Pornhub and I did some research. Yeah, so what it is you go on there, on the very front page, there's a thing you can click, and a whole list of shit that everyone finds socially acceptable to do in the bedroom comes down in alphabetical order, right? It goes Asian, anal, my bad. That's not alphabetical order. I fucked up. It goes anal, then Asian. When you think about it, it should be the other way around. You got to start with Asian. Anyway, it goes anal, then Asian, then boobs. And if I'm going to be completely honest with you, I ain't never made it past those 3, okay? But there is other stuff on there. Stuff that you and I might think is a little too kinky, too taboo. But again, as a society, we've said it's okay, right? There's like brother fuck stepsister. Or son fucks stepmother. But you know what ain't on the list? Husband fucks wife while the family pet watches. So let's get her out of here. Alright guys, my name is Mitch Burrow. Thank you so much. Y'all are an awesome crowd. Give it up for me, everybody.